This is PC747 here. And I'm talking about the empire of Google and how much Google is involved in, how far they expanded. And this is a pretty interesting topic. If you look around and see everything Google does, with search engines, online shopping, they're involved in media, smart devices, set-top boxes. Anything you think of, they're a part of it. And in a way, that's really smart in Google's part because they are not putting all the eggs in one basket. They're willing to spread it out. They got projects going with smartphones, with Android. They're not just the phone itself with the Google Pixel line, but they also are providing the software for other manufacturers like HTC, Samsung, Motorola, and other companies that you do not realize use it. But then you go and look at their Chrome division and what they're doing there with Chrome OS that are on their Chromebooks, and now they're bringing out Chrome tablets that will be coming out soon. Not to mention the Chrome browser, which pretty much powers all of everything that is Chrome. And then you look at on a TV area, they got the Chromecast, they have Google Assistant coming to set-top boxes, they have the assisted home market that's they're expanding in, self-driving cars, automated vehicles. I mean, they are involved in almost everything. But the good thing about them being involved in everything is that you do get the integration. If you have a Google phone, you find that it's much easier to utilize the Chromecast, the Chromebook, and everything else. But the bad thing about Google being involved in everything is just, because they're involved in so much, they're okay with taking a loss here and there, which means they're not going to go all out in one area or another. Let's take the Google Pixel line. Before it became a Pixel, it was the Nexus. And, I've talked on numerous occasions that, the Nexus line didn't have the same type of hardware around it that a Samsung or something else, but they provide at a cheaper price. And now they moved to the Google Pixel line, which is pretty much almost the same phone. They improved the camera, committed to adding better hardware, but it's not bleeding edge. But you know what? They're okay with that. They feel that they're going to go ahead and take the Apple route. Instead of going with bleeding edge hardware and taking the losses similar to what Samsung may have dealt with when they had the Note 7, learning about how to change the whole internal configuration to avoid something like what they had there. Instead of being the first to that, they're willing to do like Apple and utilize their software and go ahead and build their software to a way that it is actually performing better than what the competition is doing. Because if you take the Google Pixel XL, you put it next to the Note 8 and all the other Samsung devices, on paper hardware, Samsung blow them out the water. But when it comes down to the software, there's no question. Google wins hands down. Now, one area they did continue to improve was in the camera area. And they do find areas where they need to change and stuff like that. But one thing I do want to stress is that because of the simple fact that they are willing to spread everything out, they're not going to spend a lot of time on one area or another. And what does that mean? That means, say it's something like the set-top boxes, the Nexus player. They put that out there as a reference device, but they didn't expand on it like they could have. They could have made this thing better and built it into something beyond. But they're like, well, you know what? They didn't want to put the money into it because they didn't feel like they would be able to compete with what's out there. Or just as far as compete, get the money that they want to get out of the market. And the same thing with Android. And I can't fault them for that. Yes, I would love to see the bleeding edge of hardware, and I really hope that we eventually get there. But Google is playing it smart because let's say they did put the greatest hardware out there with the greatest software. They know that you're going to always have your hardcore Samsung fans that can continue to go to Samsung, your hardcore Apple fans that can continue to go to the iPhone. And then you got the people in the middle. Then you got those who actually be willing to pay for a high-end smartphone. And they have people that are going to look at that chart and say, what is the max amount of profit that we can make on this? And is it worth it? And as far as an overall business that is trying to provide profits for their shareholders, that's a smart way about going with business. Though I would really love to see them expand more on a lot of other things and grow it into something else, I have to admit, it's a smart play. And hey, that's why I think Google continues to do good year after year. And look, I'm glad that they are finally continue to expanding it into the assistants, into a lot of your smart devices, and willing to spread it out. But I ain't gonna lie, I really wish that they would go ahead and improve more of their software integration, hardware integration, and just not be quick to abandon a project because, well, you know what, spending too much time on it will cost too much money. This is PC747. I'm out.